we were just talking about you mentioned that we had contentions with this Toto and this Mahito because I said this Mahito over Toto, and then you're like, well, that's because he used domain expansion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just gonna explain it in a more timid way. It doesn't matter if that Mahito just because of domain expansion or not, and in fact, it kind of just helps my argument because this Mahito was amped by his perfect form by 200%, and that was in the scan that we already sent earlier. So this full power Mahito who had already used domain expansion, and that we kind of just had an agreement on that he amped his stats with that, and then just blasted Toto and did significant damage. The perfect for Mahito would just be double that or whatever, just 200% of that full power.
Okay, so as I was saying, the scan you provided for 40% Mahito was when he hit him, right? That was the scan you provided, correct?
No, that's 120%.
100%. The one that hit him was the one that I said that it was due to his domain amped. That was the one that I said that hit. It was the reason why I said he hit him. It was due to his domain amp. Because what domains do, right? They make sure a hit is always landed and stuff. So it doesn't really matter about speed and shit like that, right?
Well, I mean,
So
he wasn't really in his domain expansion at that time. I don't believe, was he?
we kind of moved on from that point. You kind of Steelman, so
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we
Steelman.
just ended with. No, I'm pretty sure we just ended with me saying it was just full on domain expansion because otherwise Sukuna would have come out, and that's why he said he's got to do it in a fifth of a second because if he did it longer than that, then Sukuna would have come out and then negged him.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say is he was it was due to his domain. That's why he was hitting him. The argument I made for why it was right, because the Mahito before that, right, gets beat up by Yuji, and Yuji goes to Toto. And then after you were oh, I'm going to Stillman, and then you're going, and then you Stillman, right?
Wait, which Yuji are you talking about?
Dude, you're already Stillman. You can't bring up point of contentions now.
No. I can because that was a different point. The one that I stammered.
No, what's bro? No, I'm not gonna let you backtrack. I'm sorry, bro. No. I'm sorry.
That is not backtracking. I didn't even backtrack. I just asked you a question.
No, you already
Mad, hold on, Mad. Hold on. Let me just finish. Because I was saying the only point that that I steelman was saying that it doesn't. This is the point that I steelman. I said it does not matter if Toto scales to or above or below a 40% Mahito. It does not matter whatsoever because that is not relevant to my scaling whatsoever.
No, it is because that's what your scaling literally puts. Your scaling puts 40% or greater than Toto.
No, it's not. I'm saying no, it's not. Okay, even if I did put 40% Mahito over Toto, then 120% Mahito would be over that Toto. And we already.
I'm telling you can't prove that.
I can. I just did. I did prove that. I just proved that 120% Mahito, full power Mahito, is over this Toto.
Okay, how did you prove that?
We already sent the scans. Remember when he punched him?
Okay, and that scan is a reference to 40% that you already agreed to. What the fuck?
No, that's okay, 120%. This is after the 120%.
No. Let me talk, right? Your scaling had let me just fucking put your scaling into scans and calcs, and I actually get the scans you sent. So we can't go through this weird thing. What we're doing right now. Hold up. Just gonna pay. This is your scaling, and then this is your evidence. When I ask you why does 40% Mahito scale above Toto, this is what you brought up.
Yeah, and that scaling doesn't matter whatsoever because full power is above Toto. No, it doesn't.
No, I'll tell. No, you need to let me finish.
Mad, hold on. Do you mad? Okay, look, this Toto, the same Toto that I tried to use for 40%, which I mean I dropped because honestly it's not relevant.
You dropped. Okay, then your scaling chain, then your whole fucking scaling chain.
No, it's not. No, look, Mad. I said full power. Mad, hold on.
What?
Mad, hold on. Look, full power Mahito is over 40% Mahito, which is true. And I tried to say that 40% Mahito is over Toto. Now, look, hold on. Don't say anything yet. That 40% Mahito, when he was confronting Toto, that doesn't matter whatsoever because we already saw a full power Mahito fight this exact same Toto, and he negged him.
Okay, show me where he does.
You already set the scan. It's right below you.
Okay. When I ask, okay, this is why you're not listening. When I asked you to prove why 40% Mahito greater than Todo, this is what you brought up. So if I debunk full power Mahito or 40% Mahito greater than Todo, and this was your evidence for it, then you can't use this scan to prove that full power
No, I
Mahito
can. This
greater than
isn't
Todo.
40 per. This isn't a 40%.
No,
This is
okay, but you already
120%.
conceded. But you
No,
already
that's not a
conceded on the fact that
concession.
this.
Full power Mahito. This is look, the scan that I sent you, that is a full power Mahito, one-shotting, pretty much one-shotting this Toto. It does not.
Yeah, but
Hold on, Mad,
you
hold
already
on,
conceded
Mad. Please let me finish.
40%.
Let me finish. Are you gonna let me
What?
finish? Full power Mahito slapped this Toto. This does not break my scaling chain if I take out a 40% Mahito. It doesn't break it whatsoever. Because this full power Mahito would be above. Hold on. This full power Mahito would be above this Toto, like regardless of that part. That's why I dropped it, because it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It doesn't change the scaling, whether it's debunked or it's proved.
Oh, I'm going to stick with you conceding on this point, and I'm
I
going to bring
didn't
up
concede to anything.
I'm
You're
going to bring
going
up
under a
another.
false presumption.
No. Even if this was 100% right, this is just 100% correct.
120%.
Okay, why is it 100? Why is he 120%?
It says so in 128. It says a 120% Mahito.
Okay, let's go through that, right? Because 128, he's at 128. Okay, cool. So I'm just quickly reading through 128. Let me fucking explain this shit. Okay, has like Mahito fighting fucking Yuji and shit. And then okay. I see fucking Mahito able to fucking react to, excuse me. I see fucking Mahito able to react to Mahito. I'm at 40%. Right now he's at 40%. Okay, when he's fighting Todo. My double being crushed on text on one foot all because that stupid girl being nobody. Let's get first. But you gotta show him. He tags him, kind of like tags him, but I don't know how strong your attack is using backflash. How effective you can't hit my soul. But now all three are brought out. All three are brought out 100% their potential. Oh, what's okay? So you're okay. So it says 120. Okay, all three have brought out 120%, 120% of their potential. Okay.
Right.
What was their potential?
Their power.
Okay, what is there like no power potential and power are significantly different in like semantic
No.
terms, yes.
Why are they different?
Okay, do you know what potential is? Do you know what power is?
I'm saying, why is it different in JJK?
Okay, obviously words mean different things, right? So if something's saying potential and something saying power, that would be two different things. I'm just saying like due to like the meaning of these words.
Yeah, they're bringing up the power. So like, yeah, they can have like potential. Like they can have like a certain like like you know how you. I already know that you get how potential works, right?
Like how
Like they can have like a certain amount of potential, but you just need like the power to bring out the potential, right? Well, they're bringing out the potential. That's what it's saying. It's not saying they have like 120% potential or something. They have like a certain amount of potential. They're saying they're bringing out the power of that potential.
Okay, so let's say like okay, they brought out 120% of their like potential, right? Let me just like read through this kind of quickly. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, the same bullshit I said before. Like, okay, let's say like this is 120% of fucking Mahito. That 120% tags total, right? Due to his domain expansion.
No. Well, I mean, well, yeah, not like using his domain
Oh
expansion, but
no,
like
it
using
was
the
due
ants
to
that he
his
got from
domain
him, right?
expansion. He got that off. Like he was able to tag him.
Uh,
Should I like
no.
explain why?
Like you already agreed. You already agreed before, like in the last point we were talking about that, like he was getting an amp from domain expansion. That's why he activated it for 0.2 seconds. Is that he could
Yeah,
get that.
so it's an amped 120%, right? 120%
Yeah. So
Mahito tagging total.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
So
that's what I mean
so
by
then
that's what
that
I mean by
doesn't
a full
scale to
power
like
based
that
form.
doesn't scale to 120%. Excuse me, that doesn't scale to 120% normal Mahito.
What does that matter?
Because this is why it's gonna matter, right? Because if you're trying to say this one is graded, this amped like unquantifiably amped
Hold on.
120% Mahito, like graded in total, right? And then it wouldn't scale anywhere because like the amp that he gets from domain wouldn't relate to his true form.
Okay, wait, Mad. I was gone for like 20
Oh,
seconds.
did you? Okay, let me repeat what I said. So basically, right, I was gonna say, let's say you said, okay, an amp domain expansion 120% Mahito scales to total. I'm saying since due to that
No,
amp being
over Toto.
over total, right? Due to that, excuse me,
Yeah.
due to that amp scaling, right, above due to that amp due to the amp being unquantifiable, I mean, right, you can't relate it back to true form Mahito because it's unquantifiable.
I can't. Well, no, like the form before that wasn't true form. True form is like 200% of the form that he was just in, that he hit Toto with.
No, it's not.
Why?
Because okay, you haven't presented any evidence to show that it is.
Okay. If you go back, I'm gonna have to send the scan to
Yeah.
scans and calcs. The one that we were talking about before with Mahito. This one. So like
Mhm.
it says here, the bare soul of a true soul, its strength is 200%.
That of his original form. Why? Okay, why is that? Okay, that's of his original form. Original form. What's his original form? Why is his original form the domain? That's the issue here.
The original form is what he used right before that.
Okay, why? Okay, why can't it just be the form that he has without the domain? That's the problem.
That that okay, that would not make any sense whatsoever if it was going to say that
Why?
it's 200% of something that was like a long time. That was like something that was a long time ago. So it doesn't make any sense for him to like reach a perfect
No,
form and
it
then
just
for
happened a few. It just happened.
mad
What? Just wait, hold up. You said a long time ago, but then you
at
just already
all.
said
You are not letting me
0.
finish at all.
I never
I can't
used
get my point through. Mad. I am not going to be able to finish this debate if you don't let me get my point
no,
through.
dude. We can
Because
just move
otherwise you're
on.
going to go off of a false basis that I haven't finished yet.
We can just move on. Like, there's no
No,
point in
no, we're not going to move on because I'm going to continue my point. Okay, so it would not make any sense for them to say 200% of a form that doesn't have any correlation to this form whatsoever. It's going to be 200% of something that you can actually compare the two between, rather than saying, it makes more sense for someone to say in this. And this is kind of like a bad analogy, but it makes sense for someone to say, oh, 3 is 1 more than 2 because that's what comes right after 2, rather than saying 3 is 2 more than 1 because 1 came 2 before 3.
No,
Do you
I
get what I mean?
disagree. No, I don't agree with you in the slightest. You just brought up a weird anecdotal type of
Oh
argument,
my
right?
god.
You brought wait, hold up. You brought up an anecdotal type of evidence saying, okay, this one would make more sense because of this. However, I don't think that you justified, right, why it would be referring to the 120% with the domain expansion, right? So since you cannot justify that, and you can't, you therefore you
I
can't
just
prove he's
justified it. I'm
referring to
sorry.
he's
I'm sorry that
referring
it
to that.
doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah,
It
that's
makes
fine.
sense to
We
me.
can just fucking move on. You didn't justify that. You just use a weird anecdotal of argument, which is based on your feelings, right? Which doesn't matter, right? Because in terms of like power
No, it
scaling, you
does
have to go
matter.
through. No,
It does matter.
no, it
That's
doesn't.
what's
Because
called that's what's called inductive reasoning. You're just
deductive
using this.
reasoning
Look,
does not
hold on, Matt.
fucking work
You are
here.
not. It does work here.
That's
It
not
does not
what
make any
inductive
sense. Hold
reasoning
on.
fucking
It
is.
MadScaler. It does not make MadScaler. It does not make any sense to say the
Inductive reasoning,
original
that's not
form.
inductive
Hold on,
reasoning.
MadScaler. Shut
No,
up.
that's not
Can I get
inductive
my point through
reasoning.
now? Can I get my point through
Yeah,
now?
you're throwing out things that
Can I
aren't
get my point
true.
through now?
That's not
Can I
inductive
get my point through
reasoning.
now?
Okay, go
Can
on.
I
If you repeat
get
yourself, then I don't know
my
why.
point through now?
Okay,
Yeah,
go
I can
on.
keep repeating myself because you just keep saying the same thing over and over
No,
again. It
that's
doesn't
why I
make any
said we
sense.
should just fucking
Okay?
move on.
I
Just
said in this
Mhm.
scan, the bare soul of a true soul, its strength is 200% that of its original form. Okay, that's in comparison to what he was using just before. It does not make any sense for them to compare. Hold on, Mad, be quiet, be quiet. It doesn't make any sense for them to compare this form of Mahito, perfect form being 200% of something that we saw a long time ago. It doesn't make any sense for you to compare it to that Mahito when there's a stronger Mahito that you can compare it to. When he's going into perfect form, you're not going to say, "Oh, he's double the strength of something that we saw before."
All you said it doesn't make sense because you believe it doesn't make sense. And I already addressed why that's an argument from anecdotal evidence, right? And since that's an
that's not what I'm saying whatsoever.
Yes, it
that's
is.
not what I'm saying whatsoever.
No, it's not. Anecdotal evidence is. Like, what?
That's not what I'm saying whatsoever.
Yes, you literally said you said it doesn't make sense. It would be a form that happened like before or wherever, right? Then it will be a comparison to the form that he was using with his domain. I asked you to prove I will be his domain form, and you just use an argument evidence. And you know,
I never said. Hold on, Matt. I never said that. That's why.
Hold up. I'm going to explain why this is a problem.
I never tried justifying that by saying this is what I feel like. I'm saying it honestly does not make any logical sense. It is most improbable to assume it's talking about an original 120% form. And actually, if you think about it, 120% is not his like original form. That's something that was stronger than what he was originally. By going by your logic, that's not his original form. So you can't even argue that.
No.
Your argument falls because your logic is dumb. Your logic is fatuous.
You don't even know what I'm arguing. I'm saying you.
I do know what you're arguing. I understand what you're arguing. But what I'm trying to say, and throughout this entire debate, honestly, I don't think you've understood most of what I've said. I don't think you've understood most of it because I've had to even earlier I had to yell because you weren't understanding what I was saying.
Because I haven't read this part, but it doesn't mean that
you haven't. Okay, so you haven't.
Yeah, just because I haven't read this part doesn't mean I can't understand it gradually. But what you're saying doesn't prove anything. You're just saying original has to mean the one with the domain expansion of 120%. No,
that's not what I'm saying.
You can't prove that at all. Like you cannot prove that. Your argument should
prove it right now. Since hold on, Mad,
from your belief.
Mad. It's not from belief. I literally just said it's not from belief, and now you're literally lying about me now.
Yeah, it's because you're like saying it's the most logical, and you just said it's most logical because that's the most. Like you just didn't even justify. You didn't give any support.
Didn't even finish your sentence. You just dropped your sentence midway through. But okay. So what I was trying to say is that using your logic, it'd be in reference to a 120% Mahito when that's not even his original.
No, that was not my logic. That's how I know you do not get my argument.
Hold on. That is what you said. You said it was in reference to his 120% form. I'm talking about this is in reference to an original form, which when you hold on. MadScaler.
I didn't say that. Bro, I didn't say that. Why are you continuing?
Can you be quiet? Can you be quiet? I'm not trying to continue my argument. I'm trying to continue my argument, and you won't let me continue.
No, dude, I didn't say it was 100% or 120%. I didn't say that. No, I didn't. Should I extrapolate on what I said?
Said that's 120%. You said that's not. Like I can go back. Like Kuzan can just give me the recording, and I can go back. When you were like, yeah, no, that means 120% without the domain expansion. I can. We'll go over that after the debate because that's what's important to it. That's what.
No, go back to it now. No, go back to it now because
you know, I'm just gonna be done because you won't shut up. So I'm gonna continue what I was saying before MadScaler, and I'll mute you when I'm done. Okay, here. So what I was trying to say is that when you're comparing two bodies, it's talking about true form, like the perfect form Mahito. That's like 200% of what form? Okay, what's the other body that we can compare? The one that's right before it. Okay, so it's 200%. If you're going to use those two, what's the original? The origin, which is what original is derived from, is the first one, which is 120% Mahito with his domain expansion amp. That would be full power Mahito, base Mahito. And then 200% of that would be the original. Okay. Now I'm going to unmute you. He's just gonna start screaming. I already know it.
You literally said,
hold on. Do you understand?
I understand your argument, but your argument is wrong. Okay. Like, there's no okay. So you basically said, okay, due to you were kind of using the word original, right? And I'm going to explain why that doesn't work. If you're going to use the word original to prove why it's a reference to his previous form, and that would be the 120% with the domain expansion, you wouldn't be able to prove that because original form can just mean his first form or his earliest form, and since you can't assert that one domain expansion was his first or earliest form, if you want to get the definition of fucking original, let me fucking get that for you. right? So we can't go off this bullshit. Wait, are you what dictionary are you okay with? Like Oxford? What
It
dictionary?
doesn't matter.
Okay, Oxford. This is the definition of Oxford, right? Oxford says original, right, means present or existed from the beginning and extrapolates the first or earliest, right? So basically, what this would mean that the first form, and then since you can't prove that the domain expansion
I
is his
already
first
did.
form,
That
you
logic
haven't
still
proved that.
applies.
How's
No, that
how many forms?
logic
Wait,
still
hold on, hold
applies.
on. How many forms of Mahito have? How many forms does Mahito have?
Let's see.
What do you mean? Let's see.
Just two. There was only two.
What do you mean? There was only two.
There's perfect form Mahito, which is
Mm-hmm.
the one that like in the scan, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's base Mahito,
Okay, base
which is
Mahito is 100%, right? Right?
two form.
Base Mahito. Base,
What? Which one? You
yeah,
mean?
base
Yeah, you mean
Mahito.
base? Yeah, base Mahito.
Okay, base Mahito is 100%, right? That's like scales below 120.
120%.
No, why is
Base
that?
Mahito.
Okay, why is that
No,
his
no, no.
only
Base.
form? Because that's like a form below above his
That is
100%.
his earliest form. No,
No,
that's
you get
earliest
one.
form in this case. Since
Do I need to like?
there's base, and there's perfect form.
Mhm.
I do understand what you're saying, but it's just silly.
Okay, his base isn't 120%, is it?
Yeah, it is. Since
Okay,
it's
so
base Mahito,
how is his base
that is base Mahito.
120%? Because 120% is
It doesn't
you
even
know
say that.
what? 120%, right? Is 20% above his 100%. So if he's
Okay,
20%
still
more than his
base
100%,
Mahito though.
that's above his 100% form. So now that I proved that he does have a 100%
It
form,
is. Hold
right?
on.
And the definition of fucking original means first, right? And we know that the fucking 100% form can't be for the 120% form. It was most likely mean the 100% form, not the 120% form with the domain expansion. And you haven't proved why it would
Okay,
be with the domain
MadScaler.
expansion.
Mad
We can just fucking
MadScaler.
move on. I don't care. I don't want to go through this bullshit.
MadScaler.
Pulse and
MadScaler.
nozzle. Let's move on. No, let's move on. No,
MadScaler.
no, this
Mad.
is getting too
Okay, you're not
long.
even gonna.
No,
He's
this
not
is
even
getting
gonna
too
let me
long.
finish.
It's fucking
MadScaler.
7 p.m. here.
MadScaler.
No, this is
Hold
getting too
on.
long. No, we're gonna move on.
I'm gonna ask you
If you
some
give your
questions.
reputation,
I can
yeah,
ask
yeah.
you
No,
some questions.
no.
So
If
I
you give
can,
your
yeah, I can
reputation,
give you
if
a
you give your
reputation. I mean, it's
yeah,
my
yeah, cool,
burden.
cool. I don't. Okay, cool.
Okay, so well, actually, I don't even have to refute it. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. So,
Okay, if it's relevant, then
I
yeah.
think that you're confusing what form and points in time were because just because it's like different points in time does not mean they're different forms. Like
Okay, okay.
you can still like I'm just gonna
Oh,
use an analogy since you're familiar with Naruto, right? So you can still say that like the Naruto that's at the beginning of Shippuden, like when he goes back to Konoha, like that's still like a base Naruto, right? Like when he's just like sitting there on the pole, right?
okay. Base.
Yeah,
That's base
that's
Naruto.
base Naruto.
Beginning of Shippuden. That's one form, correct?
Well, no, I mean, not
I'm,
really
I'm,
beginning of
I'm
Shippuden. It's still like
presuming,
the same
right?
form.
I'm assuming what we were going under, right? In terms of form, was just like versions of a particular like character, not like
Uh,
aesthetically different. Because if it's
no,
aesthetically different, right? The only fucking aesthetic.
Mad scalar.
Uh huh.
Form and points in time are not the same thing. You're
Oh, but I'm
confusing the
saying,
definitions.
okay, what do you define as? So before we go through this, like, don't go through this bullshit. Like, what were you like assuming as form, as a
In like
form?
form, like
Yeah,
transformation.
it's no in terms of Mahito, because you said
Yeah,
120% is a form.
transformation. Yeah,
Okay,
transformation. Since that
the
would be like
transformation,
him
right?
going
So
into perfect form would be a transformation.
okay, so then 120%, right? Okay, so we this is what we get. 120%, right? That's a fucking you said that's a fucking form. Then we get
No,
domain
I
extension.
didn't say that. I never said it
What
was a
you just
form.
said 120% was a fucking form.
I didn't say that. When did I say
This you
that?
just fucking did. Okay, say again. What do you think is a form? You're gonna
When
fuck
did I say
yourself
that?
up again.
I said a
Okay,
form
what do
is
you
a
think?
I said a form is a transformation.
Okay, so right.
I didn't
Okay,
mention
so this
120 at
so
all.
it's a transformation. Excuse me. So it's a transformation, right? So which in this context of Mahito, which would be his form?
Perfect form and base.
Okay, perfect form, and that's 120%, right?
Well, base, like 120% is part of base,
Okay,
so he's
okay,
still in
and
base
then
due
we
to
know he gets
120%.
another form. We know he gets another form with the domain expansion, correct?
No, that's still base Mahito.
No, but it's an amp. It's a more of an amp form. It can't be this. It
I mean,
can't.
yeah,
He
it's an
can't back
amp.
scale. He
It's an
can't
amp,
scale.
but
Yeah, but he
he's
can't
an
scale
amp,
to
but he's
him.
still in base.
Yeah, but it's an amp, so he doesn't scale to 120% anymore. What do you understand? It's not that
Fine,
hard. It's not gonna
fine.
rap. Like what?
So
Okay,
that
so
doesn't
so
change
now
the
that I established that
transformation.
domain
I mean,
expansion,
I don't see
this
I don't see like a
domain
hold
expansion
on.
amp in all
Mad scalar.
stats, right?
That's like him. Mad scalar. That's like him using like a technique. That's not actually him
Yeah, but he's stronger than his 120%. What do you fucking understand?
Like changing physical appearance or anything.
That okay, he's stronger
I
than his
understand completely, but
120%.
you're
Due to the
saying
main
that hold
so
on.
he can't
You're
scale to
saying
his
that
120%
look,
form.
MadScaler, that's not a different form though. That's still the same form.
No, but he's still stronger, so you can't use that to scale.
It's
This is
still
where I
base.
was
He's
gonna
just
go
using
with,
a
right?
technique to amp
No,
himself.
this is what I was gonna go with, right? Rain. This was gonna go with, right? So since we established that 120% base is a form, right? And then domain extension is wait, hold
not
on, hold on, hold on,
specifically
hold on,
MadScaler.
hold
We
on, hold on,
didn't
hold up. Oh my, you didn't let me finish. Stop.
establish that.
Wait,
We did not
are we
establish
already?
that.
No, no,
MadScaler,
are we already
MadScaler,
established?
we didn't establish that. You're lying.
We
You're
already
lying, and you
did. I'm not gonna,
established
why
it.
you, bro? Why you flip flopping now here? Why you flip
I'm
flopping?
not flip.
Yes, you are. You're pissing me off. I just wanted to have a calm debate. You're just trying to
MadScaler,
wreck.
MadScaler,
Bro,
MadScaler. Listen, I never said 120 is a form. I said it's part of his base form, so it's still the exact same form. That's like verbatim what I said.
okay, it's okay. So it's part. Okay, what's his 120 is a part of his base form. So you're agreeing that his base form has a like his base form is a form,
Right.
right? You're just fucking yourself up. So what's his base form then? What level is his base form? 100%, below 120%?
That's just what level? I mean, you could
Okay,
say
what level?
base Makito is like 40. Wait, hold on. Like if you're
Oh,
looking at this,
yeah, exactly. You're
hold on,
fucking yourself
MadScaler.
up.
You just asked me a question. You just asked me a question. You're not letting me fit. You're not gonna let me answer.
Yeah, because you're fucking yourself up. Like,
Do you
what
see
the
how silly
fuck?
that is? That's like
No,
childish. You're not gonna let me
no,
answer. That's
you're
so childish. Look, you asked
oh,
me,
you're just
MadScaler.
flip flopping. Your whole
You asked me
premise,
what
the
is.
premise is just
You said what is
going
base
around.
MadScaler.
Okay.
What is base form Mahito? Like, what is his power level or whatever? That like base form in this arc, we've seen 100%, I believe. Like we've seen 40%, we've seen 50%,
Yes.
and we've seen
Mhm.
viable amp, and whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so I don't know
it's base
why you argue with me at all, because you already like agreed that this mojito has different types of like forms.
two forms. One is perfect form and one is base. That's why there's like a distinguishment. That's why it
Oh
has.
no,
Hold
no,
on.
no, no.
If you look at the names, one's called perfect form, and there's one called base form.
No, I disagree with that
Form. There's
because
like
you already
that's not a transformation. That's just still in his base form. He's just getting an amp.
no, you already conceded.
I
You already
never. What did I
conceded that
concede
he's
to?
120. No, you literally this is what you literally said verbatim. You're like his 120% is like a greater version than his base form, and we already agreed that his base form was 40%. So since
No,
we're
no, that's still in his
at
base
his
form.
base,
I never said that.
okay,
You're misinterpreting what I said. You're just misdrewing it.
okay, what did he fucking say then?
Okay, I said that that's still in his base form. Like
Yeah,
that's stronger than like the 120%. That's stronger than the
is that,
40%. Stronger than the 50% that we already saw. But that's still his
yeah. So
base
you're
form,
agreeing that
nonetheless. That's not a
you're
different
agreeing
form.
that his base there's a threshold for his base form, and the threshold for his base form, which we already agreed to, was 40%, right?
Not
Yes. What?
really.
Yes, you fucking did.
No.
What do you
That's
mean?
not the freshest. I mean, if you're going to go off of Shibuya incident, then that would be 100%
Okay,
Makito.
okay, well, 100%. What I'm trying to go with that is that he has multiple forms that you already agreed to, right? And then since we know original means the first, right? And that
Not
form with
inherently.
what? Excuse me. Literally, look at the definition I sent. What
Yeah,
you
but it's not.
you agreed to
That's
this
still the same
definition?
form, though. You say
No,
it's
no,
the
no, no, no.
first form. Hold
It's
on, MadScaler. MadScaler. We've been arguing for like the past like 15
yeah. That's why I
minutes
said
over
we
like
should
what.
move on.
Hold
It's
on,
not deep.
MadScaler. Let me finish.
Oh,
You're
fuck
acting really
no.
childish and silly right
No,
now.
you're the one. You're pissing me off. I just said we should move on. You just want to drag this.
I'm sorry that I'm sorry that I'm pissing you off. But like
Yeah, let's move on.
I'm
I
just
don't
trying
know
to get.
why you're doing this. Let's just
MadScaler.
give our
MadScaler.
conclusions. Can we fucking
It
move
feels
on?
like you're not even gonna let me give a refutation to something. That's really childish. Do you understand
Okay,
that?
you give
I
a
understand
refutation,
that.
then we conclude.
I understand
You
that
give a refutation, then we conclude. It's not that deep. We just move on. I don't know why you're trying to like let this
I'm
stretch
pissing you
out.
off.
Fucking hell.
I mean, that's childish in itself. Like we can continue
Let's
this
hurry
conversation
up
when we see
then.
agreement,
Just
but
give
sure
your
we can drop it.
refutation and then let's conclude.
So what you were doing is you were basically just saying like, oh, well, you're okay. So percent, whatever it's or it's 200% of his original form, but that like original form is still everything inside of his base, and it wouldn't make sense for it to be a 200% of his freshest form, like you said. There's nothing. I don't think there's any implication to that. well, like, it's not really it's indicative to the fact that this would be, like, in reference to the form that we just saw before. It would not be indicative to say that this was of his, or, like, freshest original form, and rather it was just
Nope.
200% because, like, like, you could get, like, the narrative behind, like I'm not trying to argue narrative right here, so don't, like, I'm not trying to
Then
rant
don't
like
bring
that.
it up.
Okay, but, like, you see, like, perfect form Mahito, like, that's when he, like, finds himself, right? That's when, like, he finds his reason or whatever. Now, when he's doing that, that would not make sense for him to, like, find himself, and this is gonna be kind of confusing to say this for both of us, but, like, Mahito found himself. This does not mean it, like, multiplied 200% of his original freshest form. It's gonna be 200% of the form that he was just inside of.
Nope. You didn't
Rather than it taking the
any of
stats of
it.
only your fresher version and then just taking that and multiplying it by 2, it would make more sense for it to be 200% of something that we
Nope.
literally just had.
Nope.
Do you
Nope.
get
Nope.
that? Like, there's
Nope.
nothing
That you
I
have
don't
to.
see anything. It's never, like, implicitly saying that. It's not explicitly saying that for your part of the reason, like, your part of the thing, but it does make sense for what I'm saying. And,
Nope.
honestly, it kinda holds a contradiction inside of your own claim.
Nope. I don't know what contradiction you're trying to say. But anyways, I'm gonna like give a
Yeah,
refutation and then we'll
there
just
is a
conclude it.
contradiction. I already brought
I'm
this
just
up.
gonna give a refutation and we'll just conclude it. So basically, what you literally said that it was again, you went back to like what you were trying to prove. So you're just begging the question, right? You're trying to say that okay, this would be reference to his 120% form like in this context of the domain, right? I asked you to prove why that would be the case. You're like, okay, well, it would make sense. It would be this, right? And then I said no because right,
All
we know he has other types of forms, right? That doesn't include
but he
his
does.
domain. And then he really should agreed that okay,
Bro,
his
wait, there's
120%.
there's
Wait, I let you talk.
to
I let you talk.
MadScaler. Yeah,
No,
but
I
you're
let
being
you
wrong already.
talk.
You're already lying about your basis.
Okay, then we'll just let Bubbles decide. Then it's not even that fucking deep.
But you can't just go off like that because you're already
No,
lying
it's
about
not
your
that
basis
fucking deep.
because
Bubbles will fucking if
you're saying
Bubbles
that
get the
it's
argument, then
200%.
that's fine. I don't care. Like it's not even
Yes,
off. Like
but MadScaler,
that's why we have
you're
judges.
already
That's why we
going
have fucking
on
judges.
saying
It's
that
not
there's
even that deep.
multiple
It's,
forms. MadScaler, you're going on saying there's multiple forms of Mahito when we already came to a mutual agreement that there's only 2.
yeah, okay, so then that would be up to the fucking judge to decide, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so should we just let me give my recitation and then we'll just conclude. This guy was like,
Sure.
okay, only has 2 forms because okay, right? His 120% form is just like a higher version or stronger version of his base self, right? And then that would be him like basically agreeing that his base self is different from his fucking 120% form
It's
or
the
whatever,
same.
right? And
We
then
came to an
no, it's
agreement
not
on
the
that.
same because they have different powers. They have different powers. The one
Okay.
is 40%, one is 120%.
Mhm.
So
On
since
base,
we established that like
just an
what makes a form is the amount of like percentage, because you said 120% makes the form, right?
you can get an amp without changing transformation.
Huh?
It's just you can get an
Yeah,
amp
yeah,
without
but
changing.
your whole argument for it being different forms was it being a certain percentage. I know that's what you literally said. You
Not
literally
really.
said that, right?
That's not really what I was
Okay,
saying.
so okay, again, I have to fucking go. We have to fucking backtrack, right? And I have to ask you again, why is the reason why you think Mahito has 2 different forms? What's the reason? I get the true form Mahito, right? Because it says form, right? But like, but what's the reason why you say it has another form apart from the true form Mahito? What's your fucking reason for that?
Thought we already agreed. Didn't we already come to a mutual agreement on this?
No,
Didn't we
we
both agree that
clearly
there's only
didn't
2
because
forms?
I said it was this, and then you disagreed. So obviously, I obviously want you.
Yeah, we can just come to a mutual agreement. I'm pretty
Okay, so
sure.
we can
I
come
can't
to a
remember.
mutual
I'm
agreement.
pretty
Well,
sure.
what's the reason why he has 2 forms apart from remove the whole true form? I know that's a form. What's the other reason apart from the true form why he has a form? Because I know it's
I
due to the
don't.
percentage. That's
When he got when he
huh?
went into 120 when he went
Yeah,
into
that's
120%. Hold on,
yeah.
Matt. Hold on. Let me
Okay,
answer your question. Answer your question real quick. When he went into 120%, that's not like an extra like transformation. Like he didn't transform himself. He just got an amp. And when he uses his domain expansion, that's not a different form either. That's just an amp. So he's still in his base form. And when it's talking about like forms here, I mean like
mhm.
its strength is 200% of its original form. You can say that. I mean that would just
Yeah,
be
and what's okay again? Okay,
use
this way you're getting lost. You said
200% of the
120%
form that we saw.
is 120% of his original form. What's his original form? You
But
literally conceded that he has an original form. What's 120% of his
I
original
said
form?
I said okay, if you're gonna have 2 forms, which I've been arguing this whole time time
You
originally
already
the first
agreed
one,
that
which
100%
includes literally
is
that includes yeah, I said that that's the same form as base because there's
it's
no
not the same
transformation
form
between
as
the 2.
it's not this no, but you agree one is stronger, right?
Yeah, but it's just the
Obviously,
same.
but it's then
It
obviously
doesn't mean
okay.
it's a different form,
One
it's a different point in time
okay,
different
one okay,
use.
so basically, right? One this is why like the statement would like need to be elaborated on which specific like version or like what form is referring to. Let's say like 120% is like above his original base form, right? And then
Still the
you're trying to say that since then like you're trying to say there's no difference, right? Or whatever, right? And then you times and but then you like put 100 200% for that. It wouldn't work because we already know that like he already has a form before that or like a version before that.
yeah, you could say like a
Like,
version maybe because
and
that's
then we don't even and you know what's even worse? We don't even know whether that's with
something
domain
that's
or
like at a different point in
without.
time, but it's not like
Okay,
yeah,
we
and that's
don't
why
even
we're
know
arguing
whether that's
about we don't know
yeah,
hold on, Matt, we don't know if it's with or without. That's what you just agreed to. So all we
yes.
have to do is argue which one is more likely, which one's more probable, which one's more logical. So I'm
Okay, so
trying
now you agree that 120%
to say
like
that
differs
original
from
form
120% with domain,
yeah,
right?
sure, it differs, but it doesn't make
Okay,
it a different form.
okay.
It doesn't
Well,
make it a
one,
different
yeah, you
transformation.
made it. We don't know which one is referring to, right? I'm just going to argue. It'll most likely refer to the one without domain because what original means is first earliest, and what was before domain was 120. So can we please move
Says
on?
original form, but I'm arguing that his base form would include the 120% with the domain expansion. So there is
No,
no
you
form.
haven't proved that. You literally agreed
I
that.
did
Oh, we
I
don't know
proved
which
it
one.
though.
Yo,
I did
yo, yo.
prove it.
Wait, let's just fucking conclude. Let's.
Okay. I can just leave it up to whoever the judges are, because I
Yeah.
can just say, I mean,
Okay. Fine. Do you want to like say a conclusion? Because I think I need a conclusion to like because there was a lot of like circular ad nauseum here. I just want Bubbles to actually get what my argument is. So I'm just gonna. You don't need to conclude. I can just conclude. And you can just be quiet. So
don't worry,
basically, you can. You want to start or should I start?
I'll let you start.
Okay, I'll start. So basically, this like specific sell point, right? He was trying to get like, excuse me, he was trying to get truthful Mahito above like Toto, right? I had point of contention. We went over like, okay, he was like, oh no, this is 120%, right? Even though like he did like before he sent a scan to prove like 40% Mahito was greater than Toto, and he sent this specific scan, right? But now he changed it, right? He flip-flopped his premise, right? To saying this is 120%. I said even if this was 120%, right? And then even this was 120%, this was with domain expansion, right? Switch scales unquantifiably above like just scales unquantifiable in terms of power, right? And then he might try to like make an argument that 200% form like his true form, right, would scale specifically above that domain with the 120%. I told him you cannot prove that because this original can mean like multiple things, right? And I like kind of like elaborated on why it will most likely mean like a form that isn't his domain. He tried to argue it's his domain because I call that anecdotal evidence. Like he's just using anecdotal reason, what he like personally believes and an argument from belief. It's like, oh, it's the most logical because it's the most logical. And then he was like, and I said, okay, we agreed that okay, these Mahito has multiple forms. He said two, but in his argument, right, he was literally conceding that okay, this 120%, right, is higher than his original form or original base form. And then you already like said, okay, original base form is 40% or 100%, blah blah blah. We went all through that, right? And then we agreed that okay, 120% is different from domain expansion, right? I'm saying you can't prove that what this scan was referring to was the domain with 120%. It could have been referring to 100, 40%, one like oh like 100%, 40%, 120%. But then he made the assertive claim that it was a domain expansion with 120%. I don't think he proved that at all, right? And then I made an argument like saying that it would be most likely this, right? Because what original means, what the definition we agreed to, Oxford, right, was the first. And since we established that he has multiple forms, and we know that domain isn't his first because it appears after all those forms, right? It would be more likely referring to that. So then where I was going with this, just because he tags Toto with this or whatever, his 120% form wouldn't scale to that. or with a scale above his domain with his 120%, or like his true form Mahito. The true this is getting my head fucked. His true form Mahito with a scale to domain expansion with 120% at all. So you can just conclude on this point. I'm more
Okay.
potential.
Okay, I'll conclude. Right after this, I gotta right after conclude, I gotta go mow my yard real quick. So
I'm not gonna be available, bro.
okay. With my conclusion, I think that MadScaler for, I mean, we're gonna have to like keep tying these recordings back together. Sorry for that, Kuzan, but uh, I really think that MadScaler was confused a lot of the time and misunderstanding and misconstruing a lot of my arguments. And we were bringing a lot of like the most contentions was with like the form thing that we were just arguing for like the past like 40 minutes or something. Um, Basically, I was just trying to go under the claim. I was just asserting that like in the scan where it's 200% that of its original form. I was going to argue that base is a form, and that would be it's like original form, and that would include the 120% and the domain expansion amp in terms of transformations. And usually when we look at forms in JJK, especially with like when it calls this one a form, like a perfect form Mahito, that's when he's like actually like physically um getting transforming whatever. When earlier on there's like multiple examples with like people getting amped and they're never like actually called like different forms or something. So I don't think that you could call like base Mahito going to 120% a different form in the same way that like a 40% Mahito would still be base form. So just because like your power level is higher or lower, it doesn't change the transformation that you're actually in, like in base, or amped or weakened, whatever. It would just change like your state at that time. It would just be like how powerful you are. And sorry, because I think my thing timed you out. But and what else was there? Yeah, he was bringing up like I started like backtracking or whatever on MadScaler. What was it?
Hmm?
What was the thing on? What were we like? You said I was backtracking on something, right?
I don't remember. I think I said you were backtracking on like your premise was this is a 120% makes the form, and then
Ah,
after
that okay,
yeah.
okay, got it. Pretty long. It was like over an hour and a half long, probably. Said that like basically he had contentions with like 40% Mahito being above Toto, or Mahito, excuse me, over Toto, and I just kind of dropped that point because honestly it doesn't matter because I can just say that true form Mahi like the not true form. I can just say that like full power base form, which is what I called him with like the domain expansion amp and at 120% potential, he was able to take out Toto. So it wouldn't change my line of scaling whatsoever. Um and personally I don't think I even backtracked on that. So I mean it's up for the judge to decide, but just know that like honestly that line of scaling doesn't matter whatsoever and it doesn't change the rest of the scaling at all. Um I was just trying to get like basically trying to get this true form Mahito, perfect form Mahito over the form that he was before. And I think that when you're talking about original, you take like two forms because the only like actual reference to a form that we get is base form and this form. And when they actually talk about a form, the only example of a form that we're actually like given and called a form is when he enters like a different transformation where he's actually like physically changing, and mentally too. He actually mentally changes. Um, yeah, that has to do with narrative, but whatever. Um, and get this Mahito above what I would consider a base Mahito, which would, it wouldn't make, I don't think it would make any sense for it to be 200% of a like 100% Mahito when like he was saying that it might be like the freshest version of his original form. It honestly kind of sounded like a confirmation bias that he was using to push that argument. Because he just said, "Oh, it means original form. That means the first form." But 100% isn't. That isn't that's like the basis. That's like the standard for what base form would be. But then you have like just him being at 40%, him at 50%, him at 120%, him with using a technique or getting amped from a technique. it does not change its form, no transformation, etc., etc. He said that I was in his conclusion, I think he said something that it was like circular. I said something circular, like it's more logical for him for it to be referring to 120% um form with his domain expansion amp because it is more logical. But that's not what I said. I never said that's. I never like actually said it's because it's more logical. I said it's more logical because, and then I'll, the reference to that is what I just said in my conclusion, right before this. So yeah, I think that's all I have to conclude on.
Okay. Oh my days, you made this longer than it had to be. Are you going now? Like,
Yeah, you can go now.
yeah, I recorded these anyways. Like, I think my audio would be better. But
Yeah, you sent
yeah,
it to me
cool.
too.